Okay, he's here.
Okay, Taro, sorry, Jerry, was
No
was
problem.
my mistake.
No problem. Yeah.
Anyhow, so as I was saying, so service delivery looks more beyond project, does operational job, but um, based on the kind of experience you're gaining now, you also might easily be able to do a service delivery role because it's basically looking at ensuring that projects are delivered. That's just basically it. Today, we're going to do a bit of hands-on experience. So I'll start with a project charter. Does anybody have an idea of what it entails to create a project charter?
I think, I don't have an idea.
Can we create a project charter? We've spoken about it.
Yeah, you've talked about the project charter.
Yeah, so can we create a project charter? What are the components of a project charter?
It talks about the scope of the project,
The objective.
And
Yes.
expectations, the financial
Budget.
The budget?
budget for the project, the stakeholders, technical stakeholders, I call it sponsors of the project.
Yes. High-level stakeholder.
Yeah, high-level
stakeholder. And the sponsor's
project sponsor.
signature.
That's the last one that seals the document.
Okay. There's something else we haven't mentioned.
Could it be risk?
Yeah, risk. Absolutely risk. High-level risk management with there. You also have some form of details of project teams, roles and responsibilities. Some high-level timeline. Not your schedule now.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Like you mean risk in project charter?
No, so in project charter, no, not risk is what I was saying. Communication plan. You need to have
I just said risk and you concur.
Sorry, I wanted to say communication plan. There's going to be high-level communication plan in your charter. Your project plan is where you have your high-level risk plan. Some form of summary of your risk. What you have in a charter will be assumptions. And yeah, some level of risk, yes. Because when you're drafting your charter, you already also will have envisaged things that I think might go wrong. Remember I mentioned, so if you're doing a construction, you'll most probably assume that what happens if, so typically, I'll say from a Nigerian perspective, you're drafting a charter to construct a building. You most probably will have included there that there's a likelihood that if you don't buy stuffs in time, which is a risk, you might end up overshooting your budget. So you have that kind of high-level conversation in terms of risk, including communication plan. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. It won't be your detailed risk plan. Whereby you look at the likelihood of it happen and probability of it happening. You won't do that much. It's just going to be you itemize one. You might have A go wrong, B, just things you think high level might happen. Just an overview of what it is, what you think might happen at the start of a project. Let me break it down. Is any of us working on any project at the moment? I heard you guys are doing a BA stuff. What's the BA?
I was working on one. I was working on one.
Stanley, are you not working on the project?
What's the project like?
Okay, yeah, it's a CRM migration project.
Okay. So you're migrating a CRM to
We're migrating from HubSpot to Salesforce.
HubSpot to Salesforce. Okay.
Yes.
So in terms of risk, what do you think you will have identified as likely risk for that migration?
I have to quickly run to our business case.
High level. So what's the business case?
A business case is like a justification document.
Yeah, I know. As in, what's the business case for it? Why? What justified the migration?
Okay. The essence of doing this case is to give an oversight of options.
No,
For
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, why are you moving from HubSpot to Salesforce?
To enhance customer satisfaction and then increase of profits.
Increase in profit and customer satisfaction.
Yeah.
Okay. Part of what you're defining as the business case. Do you have anything about on-prem and off-prem? Do you know what on-prem and off-prem are?
No.
On the premise, as in, are you deploying that database inside the office or in the cloud? Off-prem is in the cloud.
Oh, no.
Okay, those details are not included. So for me, it will be analyzing high-level risk of. So when we do this movement, will we be migrating? I presume that the HubSpot is on-prem, is on the premise, and you now want to move it to the cloud so that it's easy to manage all your clients, it's easy to give them feedback and the likes.
Yeah.
Now, so part of the risk will be likelihood of loss of data during the movement.
Data loss during migration, yeah.
Yeah, during migration.
System downtime.
Yeah, the system downtime. There's also the risk of having remote resources working on different time zones.
Yeah. We also consider the employee adaptability.
Yes. Yes, you consider employee adaptability. Definitely, yes. Okay. What else do you think we'll consider?
Compliance requirements.
Okay.
Carry on now.
And dependencies on third-party vendors.
Carry is our boss in the
okay. Don't mind you.
We are the students.
Yeah, no just Taiwo is the overall boss.
Stanley, you can see that I have to go and read documents too. Please don't worry me.
So basically, you'll have that high level risk identified. Things that might go wrong. It's not going to be in details. Like when you now eventually do your full business plan. You know what? Let me share my screen in a minute. Then we'll both go through a project charter together. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Okay, yes, we can now.
Okay, let me make it. All right. So this is what your project charter is going to be like. It's a document that's got series of pages. So if you notice, the first thing we're saying is you provide the name of the project, right there the project charter, write the date of creation and the revision date. So we're saying, so most times in projects, you're going to have things that you're going to have versions of different things. Even your project plan, you're likely going to have versions, version 1, version 2, So this most probably is the final one after the revision. So you will have the start date that you created the initial project plan, project charter, then you put the final revision date. So that's your page 1. Remember that this charter flows from the business case and it will flow from your project scope statement. So say these are the details of revision. It is also included. So if you had any reason to revise, you put the revision number, the date it was revised, the author, and what were the changes we made on it. So we're saying while drafting this charter, there's the conversational time between the project manager and the business analyst, whereby there's a back and forth. This is the overall scope statement. This is what we want to achieve. So as a project manager, you're engaging the business through the business analyst. You're also engaging your sponsor, so that at the end of the day, you know that what you want to deliver is what your sponsor is looking at, or is what the business is looking at, in quote. So you have a revision history. Then you have your project statement. So you kind of create a project background. All of this typically flows in from your business case or project background. Okay, so why are we doing this project? Just like you said, the reason for moving from HubSpot to Salesforce will be part of what we're putting in here. So while we're moving to Salesforce, then you have the scope statement. Scope statement just gives you an overview. We'll be moving our CRM from Salesforce, from HubSpot to Salesforce, to create better awareness, ensure that we have improved customer experience, and save the business cost. So you have a scope statement that is clearly detailed. Then you're going to have your scope in and out. What is the in scope? What is the out of? You know what in scope is?
Yeah, that's the within scope of the project.
Exactly, within scope.
Yeah.
And out of scope is things that might have been requested somewhere along the line in your business case, but cannot be achieved. So you put all those details there. Then you have the deliverables and the success criteria. At the start of my career as a project manager, I didn't understand the need for a success criteria. So I was burnt badly. So I did a project. I didn't clearly state the success criteria with my project sponsor. It was a serious issue. So I tell everybody it's very important that you state in your charter what are the deliverables and what are the success criteria. So deliverable, for example, for a software app development will be develop and publish your app on Play Store and iStore. But you also need to write the criteria for the success. Yes, you could have uploaded on the Play Store and iStore, but people might not be using it because you haven't also clearly defined the criteria. You haven't defined that part of the success is to ensure that there's ease of onboarding, which should lead you to acquiring maybe X number of users over the first 3 days, then the next 5 days, 7 days, 10 days. You need to put all those success criteria there. What else do you want? Do you want it to have a seamless handover in between, maybe different pages or different tabs? Those might be part of your success criteria. So you need to clearly define all of that. Now you have what we call the project priority. You create a matrix for it. What are the constraints on the project? How does that constraint flow in terms of scope, in terms of time, in terms of budget? Remember that I said initially there were the three fundamental tripod for a project. It was scope, time, and budget. Scope, schedule, and budget. Now, when you're doing your priority, that defines how you prioritize your project. So in terms of constraint, whether fixed or immovable constraints, how does it apply to your scope? How does it apply to your time? How does it apply to your budget? So you need to kind of rank them. You also need to have an optimization. So we're saying this is the best possible scenario, but we're also saying that we're a bit malleable, we're a bit flexible. So we're not saying we're not. So I'm talking from a waterfall project management perspective framework, but we're saying that in terms of project priority, we also have accepted X or Y or Z in terms of optimization. Then there's also the acceptance of a priority. How well are you accepting the reality and maintaining the flexibility within your project in terms of scope, in terms of time, in terms of budget? So, and this is purely in conversation with your sponsor. Now, remember that the charter is that important document that gives you a kickoff into the project and needs to have been signed off by the sponsor. So before you can just take this also to your sponsor, you'll have had conversations with your sponsor about it. So it's not just you going ahead and saying, I have a project charter. Sponsor, you need to sign it. No, sponsor also is aware. So it's a living document that you've carried your sponsor along with. Now, this is what I said. There should be project assumptions and risk. High-level risk. High-level things that could go wrong. Assumptions within the project. We assume that we will have our resource spread over different locations, which means they'll be working remotely. You have different assumptions that you'll have to write down. All of this at this level, at the project charter level, are high level discussions, which you are now going to kind of break down at the project plan stage. Now, you also must have a like an organogram for a project team, starting with your sponsor. Who are your project steering committee? Now, most times or a couple of times, your project steering committee forms, if not 100%, they form 70 to 80% of your change board. But it's very important you have them. It's very, very important you have your project steering committee, because what they also do is, in terms of facilitation of your project, they make it easy when you have that. So you know that the people that they've got everything you need, that you can talk to, that can move things for you in the project. So you're not just going all by yourself on the project. You know what we typically will call backers. You have backers for your project. You have people that are backing you. Then you have yourself as a project manager. Then you have different team members. Now you cannot break those team members into, for me, department into more like roles. So what is X going to do? What is Y going to do? What is Z going to do? Yes, Stanley.
I was going to ask, this project steering committee.
Yes.
How do you identify them, sir? Of course, the sponsor is no. Technically, project manager should be. We are the project manager, ain't it? Too?
I didn't hear that. Who is the project manager? We are the project
We
manager.
are the project manager.
Yes.
In this organogram now. So
yes.
how do we identify the project steering committee?
Remember that you are going to do high-level stakeholder list.
Identification, yeah.
Yeah, that's your steering committee.
Oh.
So most times, your senior management within the organization or within that organization, they're like decision makers. Okay. Do you understand? The major people that they're more like decision makers that, with them on board, it helps your project life cycle. So most times for me, the project steering committee comes off my stakeholder list.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes off my stakeholder list. So I look at my stakeholder list in terms of influence, in terms of importance on that project. And that's what I used to quickly create who's going to be part of the steering committee. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, sir. Thank you.
Because basically, at the end of the day, they also help you. They provide a lot of guidance on your project. You can run to them for advice as well. Remember that they're meant to be senior management kind of within the organization. So it's easier to run to them. They support you to deliver your project. So now, in terms of you moving from HubSpot to Salesforce, who will you classify as your project steering committee? Well, let me walk back. The business case you're drafting, are you drafting this as a project, as a consultant, or is an in-house project?
That wasn't specified. Taiwo, speak now, you're the leader. That wasn't specified in the.
Yeah, put it down on the spot.
I don't know. Don't mind you.
No, are you not our leader? Why you are the cost rep of the group now? The truth is that wasn't specified in the project. I wouldn't know time was that.
You mean for the project steering committee?
Yeah, it doesn't specify whether we are doing as a contract.
Are you a consultant or you're in-house?
But I think it's more like we're in-house, isn't it, Taiwo?
Stanley, I want to get your question correctly.
It wasn't my question. It's Babati's question.
I'm the one that asked the question. So in terms of this business case,
yes,
are you going to deliver this project as in-house? So the project team is inside the organization, or as a consultant?
Okay, in-house.
Yeah, so if it's in-house, your senior management will be your stakeholders. They will be the one on your project steering committee.
Money is the sponsor now.
Yeah, so you'll be looking at in terms of overview, you'll be looking at I don't know what the organization is like, but you'll be looking at the marketing, maybe marketing director, IT director.
And we have two SMEs, just like you, the way you are training us. We have 2 business analyst trainers. So we use them as SMEs.
Okay. So your steering committee will be maybe your senior business analyst in that organization. It will be your marketing director, sales director, maybe engineering director.
Anyone in the senior role.
Yeah, it will be those ones higher up.
Okay.
Because so the major one will surely be maybe your customer service director and human
Or do you think we can
director.
identify them as stakeholders that have got high influence and high power on the project?
Yes, but you have to list them.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That the ones we identify as high influence and high influence.
High influence, yes.
Yeah,
so
we can
so
use
why creating your charter, you need to include that. You need to include that details for them. Now you're also going to do a bit of roles and responsibility in your charter. What is your sponsor going to be doing? Basically, your sponsor approves your charter and priorities. Remember, sponsors need to sign off on your charter. That's what empowers you as a project manager. They also helps to remove impediments, roadblocks, issues. So when the issues, so for example, the project has agreed that resources will be given. If at the start of the project or somewhere in the middle of the project, those resources are either not given or being withdrawn, the next person to run to is your project sponsor. Yes, you have the authority, but the issues coming up, it goes back to his table. So they help you to remove any form of roadblock. So things that might stop you. Or for example, you're engaging the customer and the customer is not responding as and when it is. And you've done all you can. Your sponsor will be able to come in. Then your steering committee, you need their own roles and responsibility. They approve scope, schedule, budget, just along with your sponsor. They follow change control process. Remember what I said? For me, they form largely who sits on my own change control board instantly, because they've been carried along from the project charter stage, so they know what we're trying to do. So if there's going to be any changes, it's easier for them also to look at what we've initially identified as what we want to do and what changes we're bringing on board. So they act as your champion for internal and external. So basically, you put all the kind of responsibility to think will align with your major stakeholders as well as your sponsor. Then, as a project manager, you also write your own roles and responsibility: creation of project plan, liaising with team, ensuring that your team is working, organizing meetings, attending the meeting, ensuring that the team members take notes and make sure that project reports are circulated, project meeting reports are circulated, ensure that there's a communication plan and that project status updates are clearly shared, depending on what you've agreed, weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly. Communicate with everybody, look at the project risk register and update it all through the project. Now there's a project closeout and handover. That's solely the job of a project manager. Ensure that there's project closeout. Ensure that documents that you have are kept inside the organizational process asset or repository or whatever it's called in that organization. You champion that project. So a project manager, as we know, is not the face of the project. So when they see a project or when they see you, they see the project. So you need to write those roles and responsibility. Then roles and responsibility for your team. So like I said, for example, you're designing a software. You're going to have your UI UX designer, you're going to have your full stack developer, you're going to have your business analyst in some instances as part of the people that are involved in the project. You're going to write all those details down. Remember that you're going to also, the project manager is responsible for creating the schedule, but the project team will now be the one to ensure that your work breakdown structure is updated. Now, part of your project report comes from your project team. So that means in terms of reporting and documentation, they provide you all the details that feeds into what you do as well. And they kind of follow through what they laid down principles and instructions for that project or for that delivery of that project. So you need to write those roles and responsibilities. You need to have everything they'll be doing. So in the software development project, you write who's going to be coding, who's writing the user experience, who's going to be writing the usability test, how is the usability test going to be conducted. They have all those details. So sometimes your project data, when you list roles and responsibilities, you kind of have sometimes a page each for your sponsor and your major stakeholders. You have a page for a project manager, then you have a page for a project team. So it's a bit extensive because they're writing everything that they should be doing. Now you also have an high-level project timeline. What are we going to do? How have we broken down our task? So this is what we're planning to do. So what are we doing in month 1 or week 1, week 2, or month 2? You kind of have all of that written down inside the charter. Then you also have what you call the budget summary. High level, you have details of how much you plan to spend. If you've broken them down into milestone, which you should do, you also share it as your budget summary. So you've decided that this project of app development will cost you $250,000 or £250,000. Now you put in the milestone that says, okay, maybe when they develop the the intro page, this will be how much you'll have expended. By the time I have a database, I've expended X, Y, Z. So what the budget summary also helps you to do is it helps you to be able to track what's happening in your project. If you are above budget, within budget, or under budget at each milestone. Then you have your key supporting project document. Every form of documents that you need for that project. You have a key supporting document. So details of part of your communication plan, risk plan, all those details. You need to have those details indicated. Now, there's what you call the document numbering. It's very good you use it for each project. So you've numbered each of the documents based on the project. So this project, you've got a nomenclature for numbering them. So you number them, and it comes in maybe document 1, document 2, document 3, and you also put details of where those documents can be found. Now, remember that you are beginning to from a charter point of view, project charter point of view, you're now beginning to collate the documentation required for your project, which also flows into your project plan. Now, you also have details of your project meeting indicated in your charter. So you need to find details of how long will you spend in each of these meetings. Is it going to be weekly? In Agile, it is written that there's a stand-up meeting which lasts for 15 minutes every day. In Waterfall, it doesn't apply. You need to select a time that says we're going to have a review meeting every Tuesday or every Thursday at so time. So you have that detail included in your project team meeting. So you have the meeting types, and you have the activities that you're going to have in each of those meetings. So this is where you start with your kickoff meeting. Who are the people that should attend, and what are the activities they're going to have in them? Then you most probably have your review meeting, your change management meeting. You put all the details of the meeting that you're going to be having on the project, who will be at the meeting, and what you plan to achieve with all those meetings. So that at the end of the day, you just don't have something open-ended that says, hey, we're going to have kickoff meeting. You haven't put the time there. You haven't said, okay, kickoff meeting is just going to last us 30 minutes. They hold the kickoff meeting and everybody's there and chatting and giggling, and next thing you find out is you've used an hour and a half for a 30-minute meeting. That's also because you didn't define it from start. As a project manager, we need to ensure that even though we're just still trying to initiate and plan a project, we also need to put the cost into consideration, the budget into consideration. So it's us doing a project to write a project. That's what I tell people. So you actually, in terms of doing it, you're also writing a project. So you write all those details out. And you have your team communication plan. Remember what I said, that you'll have identified from your stakeholders how to communicate with them. Who are the ones that want emails, phone calls, SMSs, what time, all of that goes into your communication plan. So at the charter stage, you've got this high-level team communication plan at the project charter stage. So you write your communication method, what are the types of communication you want to use, what's the purpose of what you want to do. So are you sending an update or are you making a request? So you have all those details included, because the format will be different. The format for requesting for something will be different from format for providing an update to your stakeholders. So you have content creation. Who are we creating the content for? Who is the target for this communication we want to send out? So we have the content confirmation as well. Who's checking out this content? You have content distribution. Who's going to send out the content? You have also the fact that you have attachment and other things that's additional. So you have a team communication plan clearly written out. It helps the flow of your project. So it allows for effective and efficient communication with your team members. You have everything defined from the start. So you've said this is what we're going to do. and this is how I'm going to do it. Now we come to the big one in the room. It's the project charter. You have the project charter. You need to have your signatures. So first, you've gotten your, and for me, it's easier done that way. You've gotten team members to sign off that they're part of that team. That means, in quote, they've been released by their team, by their respective managers. So you have them sign off. Sometimes I try to get the manager sign off on my charter. So it shows me that the manager is also aware of this project. Then I ensure that my sponsor and my stakeholders, the high-level stakeholders, are also signed off on that charter. So it's just not what happened to my screen. It's not just the project sponsor alone. I also get those important stakeholders to sign off. Remember that like I said before, the stakeholders for a project end up forming what you use for your change control board to ensure that they're signed off. All right. Do you mind if you take a 5 minutes break? Then we can start with creating a project plan. Do you guys have? I know Manny's asked about it last week. Do you have MS Project installed now?
I have MS Project though.
Okay. What about Stanley and Uche?
I wasn't able to get one, sir.
Okay, it's not a problem. What I'll do is we'll take a 5 minute leg walk. When we come back, I'll share with you first one of my past project. Then we'll also develop a project plan together. So I think maybe we should develop a project plan for this your HubSpot to Salesforce migration, high level project plan. Let's develop a schedule together, if that's fine.
Okay, so
So
that's fine.
this is 7:56. What we should be back in 5 or 10 minutes. Which one works? Taiwo, Stanley, Uche.
8:10.
Yeah,
10.
8:10 is fine. Okay.
This is 8 p.m. from where I am, so I wouldn't know. However, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. You guys should have fun.
I like Uche. Uche is glued on.
10 minutes. 10 minutes is okay.
8:10, no problem.
Thank you.
All right. All right, are we back?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
What up, Taiwo?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, we know Uche didn't go anywhere. Okay. All right, so can we open Microsoft project together? Do we have our own Microsoft project open? Taiwo, Stanley.
I do not have. I think that is the one who have among us.
Yeah, I have Microsoft project.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my own, honestly, from my computer. So I'm just seeing that.
Just click
I'm just
start.
seeing that. Unfortunately, it's like my subscription. Microsoft 360. You pay
365.
annually. Yes. So it's like mine has expired. So I'm trying to pay so that I could have it back. That's what I've been battling since you're on break.
No worry.
But
If it's not
of that again.
if you're unable to achieve it, no problem. When you do, you can just send me a message. I could help. We could look at it together. It's for me. It's not a big deal. It's not a. So I'll share one of my old projects. So for a project plan, this is more of an implementation project. So it didn't start from the core project in terms of initiation and the likes. It's just basically because it was a program. So we've got multiple projects running at the same time. So we've got a business case done at once and the like. So this basically just flows from start of implementation. So here we all know POS terminal, which is why I chose it.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so it's just creating a POS terminal connectivity for Coca-Cola back in the days. So it was more of first itemizing what are the things we need to do and how do we need to do them and which one falls into which. Now, if you notice what it is that we did, we had a bit of concurrent projects happening together at some point. So if you notice at the infrastructure provisioning stage, we had survey ending on the 30th, securing of video equipment starting on the 30th, but at the same time, we're receiving approval to start the plan on the 30th. We're defining APN or core network nodes on the 30th. So we had a bit of concurrent projects, concurrent task running at the same time. So when you create a project plan, you might have that. Now there's the tools you could have used for this as well. A very prominent tool today that everybody uses in creating project plans is the Oracle Primavera, which is a different long gist entirely. But you can easily do this with Microsoft Project. Break down your task and see what it is. So what I wanted to just do briefly is to go through creating our own project. So I'm going to start a new project. Well, I haven't used MS Project in a while. So I think I'm in the same shoes with Uche. I need activation. But unfortunately, I'm not using 365. Unfortunately, I'm using 365. So I don't run into that with 2010, and I think with the earlier versions, you're easily able to do a plan without getting stuck in the middle. All right. So if I may ask, Yeah, so we said we're going to do the project for our migration. That's what we agreed on.
Yes.
Yes,
Inside what
yes,
it's done.
yes, yes,
All right.
yes.
So if we're to break that down, where will we be starting from?
We'll start from the initial stage,
Okay. You know what? Let
the
me
initiate phase.
Initiation stage.
I've got too many things for me. Okay, I'm gonna use this. I don't need this anymore. Initiation. Okay. What else? Is whatever you tell me I'm going to put down first, though. So I need your input at this point.
Yeah, so we will now talk about.
I might refine it, but let's start from somewhere.
We'll talk about the activities that should happen on the CRM migration project in the initial phase.
Okay. So what activities are you looking at?
Like identifying stakeholders.
Okay.
And creating stakeholder registers. Register, rather.
I'm listening.
Creating your project charter. High level risk. Oh no, okay, that's included in the project charter.
Yeah, it is. I know. Yeah, so we're saying there's a likelihood that we might now need to break down. Is that what is it that we're talking about?
Yeah.
Could that be it? So go ahead.
Developing a business case. So we already have.
The project manager, you don't develop the business case.
Okay.
The BA will have developed the business case.
Business case. Okay.
So your business case, like I said, flows into your project charter. So you extract this project scope statement from it. So really, in creating your project, you really will be developing the business case. So maybe what you're trying to refer to is, or you've created a charter as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else? Okay, let me put a title to it first.
So the project charter already has the project objective and scope, and we have the stakeholder register we've mentioned. So I think for me, that's for the initiation phase.
Okay. So what else are we looking at? High level risk.
I thought all of that is included in project charter.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna. You know what I want to do? Let's flesh it out first. We'll most probably realign a lot of those things. We'll, even for what you've said, we'll reprioritize them. Then we can now start putting them in the plan.
Okay. Okay. Planning phase.
All right. Well, Uti and Stanley.
Where it is.
Yeah, contribute to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening, for. Yeah, tell us now. What else do you think we should have included? Remember, we mentioned about team assembly. It's going to be in your charter. Can you remember
Are we
team
still
assembly?
talking about initiation stage or the planning stage now?
It's talking
So
about
what I say
project
is
charter.
we're putting everything. Like I said, we're going to put everything down. We're most probably going to refine and now put the ones that will be in initiation, the ones that will be in the charter, the ones that will be in initiation, the ones that will be in planning.
Communication plan.
Yeah, you're right.
This is the project chapter now.
Yeah, it's in your charter. I think I'll help you fast track a bit so we can get off. We're going to have kickoff meeting at some point.
Okay.
You need to look at what is existing in the HubSpot CRM. So you're going to do a bit of data
Feasibility
inventory.
study. Okay.
Because remember, you're moving people's information. You're going to do a bit of data inventory. What else do you think we're going to do apart from data inventory?
Have we done stakeholders identification?
Sorry, yeah, stakeholder identification. You know, I think you guys are in the place where I used to be when I started projects. You know, racking my brain into the task I think will be involved, and I'm like, you know, have I captured everything? Am I sure everything is there? I think that's where we are.
The truth is, when you get to the practicality, it becomes a different.
Yeah, but so for me, you know, the more you get involved in it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because once you've done it, it becomes something you do, you know, over and over again.
Yeah.
So for me, it's getting it for the first time, and thereafter it moves on. What else do we think we should do? Then we'll talk about team assembly. You guys are the ones doing the project now.
We've
So
talked
tell me,
about
what have you
risk
identified?
assessment.
Yeah, risk assessment. No, but we've done the high level risk.
High level risk.
Okay, risk assessment later on.
Budget.
Sorry?
Budget and scope.
Budget, yeah. Yeah, scope statement falls off from what's it called?
It's work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure in the planning initiation phase, rather. No, it's in planning. Work breakdown structure.
Yeah.
Is that not in planning stage?
Yeah, it's in planning stage, you're right.
Yeah.
What about the risk identification / register?
Yeah, so we said we do risk assessment. From there, we'll get to risk register and put it. We'll most probably refine a lot of things. So you know, you also look at how you will transform the data, because I'm assuming that what's it called? The two different portals, HubSpot and Salesforce are two different portals. So you need to look at how to fit in that data. You need to look at how to import that data as well. Yeah, you're going to migrate it. You need to define how do you want to import it. What tools are you going to use?
Oh, okay.
I think you also create a workflow.
Process mapping.
Yeah, create a workflow.
Okay, a PM will do that as well.
No, you need to create a workflow.
Okay, it will be part of the activities.
Yeah, it's part of the activity. You know,
okay.
As a PM, you're not the one doing the work. But this one's a task.
Okay, task. So that's why I mentioned business case. So the business case will be assigned to a BA now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but I'm saying your business case will have flown, it will have been part of your project
Discovery.
charter. Yeah,
Okay,
discovery kind of. Will have been part of your. Let's put it. Business plan. Not necessarily your role, but it's what will flow into it. Have you guys spoken anything about testing?
About what?
Testing.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're gonna have user acceptance test.
At the initiation phase.
No, we're creating.
So we're not identifying everything, then we'll factor them into
We're
the
creating a project plan. So you know what we're doing now? We're doing initiation, planning,
Okay. All the phases. Then
monitoring
we'll
and
now
control,
assign
and
them.
closure.
Okay, we'll now
That's what's
assign
going to be
them
your
to
project
it.
plan. We're just trying to flesh out what we need to do. So create the user acceptance test. We also have test workflow.
Okay.
Most of them have data integrity checks. Most of them have resolving.
Are we going to have data mapping? Or that does not come in?
So when you say data mapping, what exactly?
I think it's still part of.
You're moving an existing service
Yeah.
from a present portal to a different portal. So all you need to do is create it. It's more like creating a new foundation that you're going to move to. So you're just ensuring that that foundation is ready to take what you want to bring on board. Which is why you have all this data inventory, identifying your stakeholders, doing your risk, data transformation, how do you want to import the data, the workflow for the job itself. You need to have a user acceptance test. You have a test workflow. So what do we do first? What do we do second? Have a means of confirming the data integrity, resolving your issues. What else do you think we should have? I think training, because the new application itself.
Yeah. User manual.
Training. You're gonna have posts.
User manual.
Yeah, you're gonna have creation of user manual. Creation of user manual. You need to ensure that the final data sync probably. Is there any other thing else you think we should have? Thank you. Let's just go live. Now post implementation support. Post migration support.
Closure reports. Or lesson learned document.
Yeah, post migration support. Documentation. Post migration support. You need to monitor what you've done. There's anything else you haven't done? No, because if you're doing lessons learned, you also need to do post implementation review.
Yes.
What went right, what went wrong. Feedback. Closure. This should be project closure, not closure. Project closure. I think we've identified a lot of things. So all of this needs to put it on MS project. So we're gonna do. I need to be talking. Project initiation. Manny stated you could have done this also in Excel.
In Excel.
Yes.
Mm.
So all this are what I'm typing. You can actually just type it in an Excel sheet. The only thing is you don't have the Gantt charts format, so you can't see the progress. Okay, let me show you. Where's our other project?
But can you share your screen so we can see what you're doing?
Oh, I thought I was sharing it.
No, you're not, sir.
Ah,
But I've not
no,
seen your screen since.
I thought I was sharing it. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me first show you what we typed out to make it a bit easier. So this is just a minute. Okay, so this is it. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, so
So we can create a timeline from August to January, 6 months.
for the project.
Yes.
Okay, so this is it. So then you have. So all you need to do is put all of this in here. Let me see. Should we do copy and paste? Then okay, you know what? Let me read. I'm going to try and copy everything so that I can see myself time. Like critical project chart, how delivery is. You know what? I'm just going to not necessarily like that. This is how it's going to flow. So I can see myself time. 32. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. There you go. So this is how we've identified. Can you see it? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
we
can
can
see
see.
So we need to now put duration to them. You said start date should be August. When in August? First week in August.
Yeah.
August 1. Okay, so we're saying August 1. So to create your chart, how many days are you putting there? So let's say 2 days. Project initiation. Yeah, now guys, tell me what it is. Project initiation.
Project charter now.
Yeah, we've had 2
Okay,
days for project.
That 2 days project charter, 1 day project initiation. Identify stakeholders.
We'll find 1 day.
Yeah, 1 day.
August. Okay. 1 day project initiation starts on the Monday. All right. That's because it's weekend. I need to take a weekend from this. My schedule. Yeah. All right. Identify stakeholders. How many days?
1 day.
Create register 1 day. High level risk.
High level risk. 1 day as well.
Planning phase.
2 days.
Team assembly.
Team assembly 1 day.
Communication.
1 day.
Kickoff meeting.
1 day.
Data inventory.
Maybe 2 days.
Stakeholder. Why do I have to identify stakeholder?
A day.
Delete it. Can you see what I just did?
Yeah.
Just right click and delete.
And delete.
So apparently, if you right click, you have a lot of. You can insert new task. You can make a task inactive. You can auto schedule. I want to develop it as auto schedule. Did you see what I just did?
You highlighted it.
And I set it on auto schedule. And what happened?
Okay, completed it.
They just completed everything. Just give me 1 day straight. Since I want it auto schedule.
So you highlight it and click auto schedule.
Yeah, so if I highlight and click auto schedule,
Where is the auto schedule button again, please?
it's just on top.
Okay. I've seen it.
Or you actually can highlight, right click, and click on auto schedule.
So when you say auto schedule, it's just gonna click it for 1 day or
Yeah, it just selected same day for everything.
okay.
Now, unfortunate part of it is they put you on the same day for everything, which shouldn't be. Now, auto schedule also chooses the dates that you are in. You don't want to choose your past dates. Let's make it man. I don't need it. All right, so let's just quickly finish this. So we said 1-1, planning to 1-1-2, budget 1 day, scope, data transformation. Is that where we are? Okay, I thought we're data inventory before I went to go and do the schedule. So risk assessment, how many days do we want to plan it for?
With assessment, maybe 1 or 2 days.
Budget,
1 day.
scope,
1 day.
1 day.
WBS,
1 day as well.
risk register.
Maybe 2 days.
Okay. Challenge, I think we've done that. Click risk register already there. Data transformation.
1 day.
No, it's not another 1 day.
How many days do you think we should choose for data transformation?
2 or 3 days.
All right. Import data.
What?
Now, this is where your work is coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, that one should take like 5 days.
Yeah, import data might take a while.
Well, okay.
So I'm assuming that you have a big database.
Certainly.
Yes.
And I've tried to kind of broken it down. So depending on how big the data will be, my exact day 1 will be for data from Eastern segment. Day 2 will be from North. You actually can now put it in
Segmented.
different. So you don't do all of it at a go. From IT, when you do changes like this, you also need to put this. Most times doesn't fall into your plan though. You need to put a fallback plan. Sometimes people include it in their own project plan. Fallback man, I say, is they're going to roll back if your change fails. But basically, that's just for ITIL. Here, you indicate, so you just kind of segment what you want to do. That's part of what you do with the schedule. Schedule helps you to break down. Remember that in work breakdown structure, you are breaking to the minutest work package, the smallest task to do. This is kind of what you have in your schedule. The smallest task. I want to do A. How long will it take me to do this? Where does it move me to? Then business plan. Business plan should go up. Business plan should go up. So, well, not copying me. Where is it? Remove it. Okay, I'll write it. Business plan. I don't know how to write it at all. Business plan. So let's see. How long do you think we should do our business plan for? Yeah, the B hill. So how long will it take for our business plan?
Let's say 5 days.
5 days. We're gonna move to start to end, and the end on the 31st. That's just before, yeah. Just before you start. That's what I'm gonna say. Now, are there any of these you want to run concurrently?
The other task.
Yeah, so you identify stakeholders. You wanted to run the same day as creative. So this is part of what you can define yourself.
Oh, okay.
So for me, create stakeholder and identify stakeholders, same day, high level risk, same day. You think it's too much work, Abby? But so with time, maybe initially yes, but with time it's not. So because you already have some form of high level stakeholder list from a business plan. You know who is who and who's going to be for. You have some form of assumption on your business plan, which flows into your high level. I think planning phase should be much more than 2 days. Because that's when you define your project plan. What are the outputs of our project plan?
The
Say
output.
again.
What are the outputs from our project plan? What plans are we going to have?
Plans.
Communication plan, risk plan,
Okay.
human resource plan.
Stakeholder management plan.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of that in your planning phase.
Budgeting plans too.
Yeah, your costs.
Resources.
So basically, you can have days assigned to all of this, and you can now start tweaking your start and end dates for them. You also will have to realign which goes before which one, and ensure that they're in the spaces where you want them to be. So you're doing data inventory, you don't need risk assessment. Risk assessment is up there. So you're doing user acceptance test, you're testing the workflow, you're doing data integrity checks, you're resolving issues, then you are training the users and create a user manual. I think we should create a user manual before training. What do you guys think?
We should create what? A user manual before.
You create a user manual before training. What are your thoughts? Yeah, you know you have the project manager here. Yeah, you have the project. So you need to start thinking like real life. So I'll explain to you why I said create a user manual first. You want to train people. The manual becomes a guide that you use to train them. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The manual becomes a guide you use to train them. So that eventually after the training, the manual becomes the Bible, it becomes the workbook they take along. If you train first, then you create a manual afterwards. What will be the reference point?
Likely we have to train again.
Yeah. So you have final data sync after you resolve. So you ensure that all the data you've migrated are the way it should be. Then you do a go live.
Mm.
Then you do post migration support. Then you start with documentation. A couple of these tasks will go hand in hand. Monitor system performance most probably starts immediately after. So monitor system performance, lessons learned documentation, post support migration most probably starts on the same day, and they're going concurrently. Then you have your post implementation review. Who are part of the post implementation review?
You mean for the post-implementation phase?
The project manager, the business analyst, and then of course, the sponsor, and then
Yeah, you have your team
customer.
members. You have the important stakeholders as part of that. So you guys can quickly review what it is. What went right, what went wrong, what didn't you do right, and the likes. If I may ask, okay, which is you're going to try and sort out your own. Will you guys be able to create a simple project plan?
Like as an assignment,
Yes.
and on which project?
No, I'm just going to share something with you guys, and I've just created a simple project plan for it, an MS project, and see how it flows.
The problem is getting the MS project.
Leave it. No, we're going to do Excel.
Once I'm saying, yeah, telling me 34 pound plus.
We're going to do Excel. Don't worry. You know, all of this you can put on Excel.
Okay. Not a sell it. That's the case.
I'm just going to share with you. All of this can go on Excel. Can you still see my screen?
Yeah, you can.
Yes, I can see.
Yeah. So all that we've done can be here. Task name, the task we've listed, activity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, start date, duration, final date, who is in charge. And you have the same thing. So what do you have as the Gantt chart shows up here?
So what's basically the essence of the Gantt chart?
It just shows your schedule, it shows your timeline.
Okay.
So you can see what follows through what. So most times in project, people look at the pictorial views.
The pictorial view, the Gantt chart.
The Gantt chart gives you a pictorial view of your project.
Okay.
Yeah. So when your stakeholders are looking at
Maybe if you hit a milestone or something.
exactly. When your stakeholders are looking at, they're looking at what have you done, where are we, what's going to happen. So it shows them something graphical. So, Uche and Stanley, from the Excel perspective, how easy do you think we can draft this?
That's what we have on the chart right here now.
Yes. No. So if I
Mhm.
send you an assignment, we can do it on Excel.
Yeah, I can do this on myself.
Okay, we can use the test format, yeah?
Yes. This is Excel now. It's just purely Excel.
Yeah.
So what we had in that in MS project, we just had to put it. So we can copy this one task and just gone to Excel and pasted it, and we'll have this.
Okay.
That's what we'll have. So from the Gantt chart perspective, you just have that visual presentation of what it is that is happening, schedules, activities. That's what you see. So in terms of deadlines, your stakeholders and everybody can quickly see what the deadline is. So you know that activity one should finish somewhere before the 21st. So I presume maybe like the 18th. It's the final date for activity one. Yeah, that's it. Activity one ends on the 11th. Yeah, somewhere in the middle. So activity one ends on the 11th. Activity two starts on the same day as activity one, but ends before activity one. Activity three starts before activity one and two ends. Can you see? It just shows you when each of this project starts. And so in Excel, you know how to create bar charts.
That's okay.
It's just simple now. The same table that you developed is what you use. So this
Yeah.
Gantt chart, you are just doing a bar chart of the table.
I think the options of bar chart already on Excel.
Yeah, there is. So you just indicate detail of the data. Tells you to select the data. You pick the data from where you want to pick from, and you put the details in it. That's all. Job series one, activities you want series two. So you just do add this. So maybe what I can do is this. I'll share a. I'll just do it out. Okay, we'll make it simple. I'll go on YouTube. I'll look for how to make bar chart on Excel and share with you guys. So you actually can get a grasp of it, and you can use that as your. You can use it to do the Excel project schedule. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Now the other document will also. Okay, let me show you the schedule. This is also another schedule. Now this is a bit much more. Is more fleshed out. So if you see what has happening, it shows you task, responsibility,
We're not seeing your
schedule.
screen.
It's not showing my screen again.
I was going to wonder.
We're seeing we're seeing the previous one you were doing.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to show us another thing.
Yes.
So it's the old one that is still showing.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
Okay, let's stop sharing. Taiwo, is it that this session is too loaded? The way you heaved.
Oh no. I wanted to sing and I have to quickly mute.
Uh-huh.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can
Yes,
see.
we can.
All right.
You created this one with Excel.
Guys, this is in Excel.
Ah, this is very
Yeah.
sharp. Hmm.
Oh, so that's what I'm saying that what you have in MS project easily can do it in Excel. Same thing, activity, responsibility, start time, and time. Shows your duration. You can put your details there. You can put percentage completion, and you can now develop the chart.
Where does the budgeting and resource allocation come in here?
Budgeting, as in when you budget for your project.
For the project, like, because as a project manager now,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to be involved with the budgeting and how you
Sometimes
spend.
you're involved in the budgeting.
Yeah,
It's
involved.
going to cost you the project.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So where does that come in? And in terms of resource allocation, then you know that your budget is exhausted or your resource is
Okay,
exhausted. How do you monitor all of those on a plan like this?
So will that be tools to monitor budgets in the project?
And like I'm just saying that as a project manager, like practically, if I want you to show me now that okay, Taiwo, for this project, this is how I was able to manage the budget. This is how I was able to manage the resources to know how far we've gone, what has been exhausted and all. Like practically, I just want to see. You give me an idea on how to do it as a project manager.
Okay, so two ways, depending on the organization. If you don't have a tool, you easily can do that in Excel. So
Yeah.
while you're drafting your plan, this plan, just
Yes.
like the activity, you also are allocating budgets to each of the tasks. So task 1 or activity 1 is going to cost you this amount. Activity 2 is going to cost you this amount.
Okay, this particular project plan doesn't show that, yeah?
No. So this is a Gantt chart. This is just showing your schedule.
Okay, schedule. Okay.
So that means you develop another Excel template similar to this, where you write plan budget.
Plan budget and resource allocation as well.
Yeah, you write plan budget. You now write actual.
But it will have been great to see
duration.
something practically that has been done. Because Manny was saying it, I wanted to show us in our first class, and I requested, maybe he forgot again.
Okay, maybe when I go on break, I'll go through some of my documentation and see if I have any cost plan.
Practically.
Yeah, I'll see if I have any cost plan that I've done, and I'll just show you guys. I understand what I'm saying, because the cost plan helps you to see what you spent, what you have left. Because as a project manager, pretty important part of it is also to be sure that you haven't overspent. So you are sure that you are still within, like I said, schedule, scope, and time. 3 pivotal things for a project manager. You need to know that you're within each of this. I'll look through my documentation. But basically, from a Gantt chart perspective, you can develop all of this using Excel. So this just shows what you could have done. You have not defined it using the chart, and you also can show percentage completion. So if task 1 is moving, where are you? Task 2, where are you? Task 3, where are you? So in this one, see title 1, name 1, who that's the person responsible. You're meant to end on the 30th, the 22 days, and you've done 20% of it. Task 2 is meant to end on the 10th of July, but you're actually 90% complete. Though you started early, it looks as if you are actually right on track with that one.
How do you percentage this completion?
Okay, so part of what you've done as a project manager is to define your task and to define completion rates. Remember that most people have done the work breakdown structure, the smallest part of it. So if task 1 means, so for example, you're writing a new app, task 1 means you should develop the front end. You actually can gauge what level you are at the front end. Most times it comes from your resource. So resource A will say, okay, I'm the one coding and I've done 20% of the job. Yes, you can review that, but it tells you where they are and how far they've gone. Your job as a project manager is you're coordinating all the resources, you're getting all the data back, and you're ensuring that you're putting them together for reporting purposes and also for monitoring. So you need to be able to find a means of evaluating what your team is doing as a project manager. In times past, I'll give it to consideration. So the project I shared with you, the Coca-Cola project, is a field work, and I need to be able to figure out that
Is this one the Coca-Cola project?
Sorry?
Is this one you're showing now? Is this the Coca-Cola project?
Yeah. No, I've changed my screen. Can you see the new screen?
You said?
Don't see the new screen.
My new screen shows you Coca-Cola POS terminal.
No.
No, it's still that former one. You see that colorful one? I said it was really nice.
That was seems you like nice things. Yeah. Can you see now?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
All right. So for example, so I'll show you. Install radio is a 5-day task. So I'm presuming that first day is going to do prep on site, second day is going to run cable. Now the engineer on site will have to give you this update. Same thing with every project. So the person resource you're using needs to give you this feedback. You will have to take that feedback in good faith, while also finding checks and balances to it to provide your update. So this is where you now define in day one, you should have done 20%. But if in day one, it hasn't really started, if you haven't done 20%, it doesn't mean that anything is wrong. It might just mean that day 2 and day 3 might be rushed, or it might be the one doing extra work. But your target is by day 5, you should have done 100%. So it might not literally mean that it needs to do 20% every day. It might not also mean that each task that it needs to do. So assuming that it's 5 tasks, it might not necessarily mean that each of the 5 tasks is 20% in terms of weight. One might be 10, another might be 5, one might be actually 40. It's just to be sure that it's done the task, and when it's done the task, depending on the weight you have on it, you can actually put your percentage completion on it. Do you understand? Hello, Taiwo, Ucha, and Stanley.
And we're here.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, do you understand now?
Yes.
Yeah, to be able to measure that. So you actually can put all of that details in, and you start. So it forms part of your update, your progress update report. All right. The other. I've changed my screen. Can you see the change?
Yeah, it's back to that one.
So I'm not sure why I didn't show that one. So this shows us. So if you create this in Excel, it shows different. It shows activity, responsible resource for it. Now, part of what you do in your Gantt chart is adding your resources. So if you check each one of it that I've showed you, it's showing responsible. Can you notice that?
Yeah.
Responsible is where you actually attach your resources. So resource 1 or resource 2
You
doing
mean human resource, or is it financial resource, please?
Resource is everything. Remember that resource could be material. We remember all the things you guys remember how we define as resources. So resources goes beyond human resource alone. So for example here, if in your Title 4, your resource for that Title 4 is meant to be some form of material, you're sure that there's a responsibility for it. Now it might mean person in terms of material as well, but it means that you put who is responsible for that. Most times in your Gantt chart, your responsible resource will be human. Most times, because what we also try to do is under the task, we kind of assign some of your other stuff as a task. So in terms of material, you might just figure out how to put that material under one task. So that, but there's always a resource responsible for that material as well. Is that clear enough? Or you want me to go over it again?
Yeah, you can just go over it once more.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, in terms of resources, you have more than one type of resource in the project. So it's not only human resources alone. But when you define your Gantt chart, when you define your schedule, you're able to attach that other types of resources in terms of materials as a task, and you can attach a resource responsible for it. So this will show the responsible person for that. It's in quotes a resource, but it's also a task. So it's, for example, you're constructing a building. Part of it is to secure sand. In securing the sand, it means that so your A or Mr. B will be the one to do that. So you put that person's name there. Do we understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll put that person's name there. So responsible means who you can hold accountable. Is what resources mean.
Okay.
Who you can hold accountable.
Yeah, for a particular.
Yes.
Responsibility.
Who are we going to hold responsible? In as much as it might be material, it might be tools, it might be time, it might be information, you need to have some form of responsibility. So this shows a project, and it shows the different quarters in which the project is meant to be delivered, with each of the tasks and with the timelines. So this is if you use it in Excel, you can enter start date, your end date as well. Now, what happens most times is you also will have defined, you have rules defined in Excel so that the days are automatically calculated. So it's not you trying to impute the days; they're automatically calculated. The only thing you impute yourself is start dates, end dates, task, who is responsible. Then that helps you to now bring out a Gantt chart using either your bar chart or all the available tools in Excel. Like I said, I'll get you how to do the bar chart on Excel. I'll share with you guys. Now, I just want to highlight something. While drafting your project schedule, you also might be able to either, when you're updating, change the status of a particular task. There might be tasks that are no longer required whilst on that project. Depending, most times it will be a backfall from maybe a change that was instituted. So one of the tasks just becomes a task that you're blocked off or that you make inactive. Remember in our Microsoft project, when we right click, it showed us inactive. So you actually can make a task inactive because you no longer be using it. Let me show you the one I showed. This is one thing I did. Yeah, so you can make it an inactive task.
Can same be done on Excel?
Yeah, so in Excel, yeah, so if you notice what happened in Excel, you write blocked in front of it because you actually, there's something that's happened and that task will no longer be part of what you're focusing on. So it becomes a blocked task. So can you see in Excel?
Yeah, okay.
Now, part of what you also will have done here is under status, you'll have defined which one you want to use. So when you select, you have options to select from, not type in every now and then. So that's part of what you could easily do in Excel. So you can easily just develop a Gantt chart and trade schedule in Excel, showing where you are, where we're not. In Microsoft Project, when you right click on your task, you can assign your resources. Can you see that? Can you see my Microsoft Project?
Yes, you can
Yes.
see it. You can see it.
Yeah, so you can assign your resources. You can define the unit for that resource, and you can define a cost. So depending on your cost plan, you can tell me, okay, this resource is going to charge X amount per unit per hour, and this is what it's going to come up to. So part of that flows into your cost plan. All right, so let's take a break. Then we'll come back for the final lap.
Okay.
That's all right.
All right. So when should we be back? We still have the risk management plan to go over
This is
and a P.
13 after 9.
Yeah. So when do you want us to come back?
Can take 7 minutes break. I'll come back by 9:20.
All right, that's fine. Okay. Are we all back?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're here.
All right. So one. All right. So this is another type of Gantt chart. So here it's a bit different to that one now. You put time, you put the task and resources. Here you just done your resource management. You put the time on top, and you've kind of defined activity for each one. This one seems a bit easier in terms of it gives you the pictorial view immediately. You understand?
Yeah.
This gives you the pictorial view immediately, so you know who is handling what from when to when. So you can quickly see an overview of what is being done. So tell I don't have a cost plan. I think it's on one of my shared drive, but I'll look for it. I'll share with you guys. And
I've got a cost plan. We can.
Oh, okay. Mine is back.
Yeah. We can share that with them.
Okay, so let me just quickly let's talk about the risk management that we can do that. Just the main. Okay. All right, so this is like a risk management plan. Remember that in risk, we're trying to look at likelihood of it happening.
Yep.
And what will be the impact? Two
Yeah.
important things. Is it going to happen? When it happens, what will it affect? So we created a matrix for it to show likelihood versus impact. In terms of likelihood, very likely might happen, which is probable. Improbable might not happen. Very unlikely, that's very slim chance that this is going to happen. In terms of impact, catastrophic means everything is going to go haywire. Nothing happens. Main, it will really affect us. Minor, yes, it will affect or might be able to salvage. Insignificant, if it happens, we really won't feel anything. The minor and insignificant sometimes is where people like to play in terms of effect of risk. But for me, I take every risk important when I do my risk analysis, and that's purely because it helps you to be able to know what it is. So imagine if you think it's insignificant, but it's likely going to happen. It means that the effect you're going to feel is going to be moderate. Yes, moderate, but it means it might actually affect your deliverables. But imagine if it's catastrophic, which means it's a major thing if it happens and it's likely going to happen. That immediately puts you on the high in terms of evaluating it. So you've got the high, you've got the moderate, and you've got the low status in terms of when it happens. So if it's likely going to happen and it's going to be catastrophic, definitely going to be high. So if you look at what we've done with what happens with the matrix is your first line when it's catastrophic in terms of impact is going to be high. Whether it's likely going to happen, very likely, probably might happen, really might not happen, improbable for it to happen, but it's very, very unlikely to happen is where you have the big moderate. And moderate doesn't mean that you're also fine. In my own perspective, it means yes, you are hit by something. It just means you might be able to salvage or find a way around it depending on the risk response you define. So what you really will watch out for most times will be in terms of the one that is going to be catastrophic, very likely, probable and improbable. The one that will be main in terms of impact, very likely to happen, probable to happen, and the one that is minor, yeah, you think is minor in terms of the impact, but it's very likely to happen. It still means that when it happens, despite the fact that the impact is minor, you still have some high matrix in terms of how it might affect your project. So if you look at the risk probability, so you've got a legend beneath to show you the colors. You've got in terms of gravity, in terms of impact, you've got what it is. Then you've got the status as well. Now, if you look at the status basically will tell us what happens. So you're in a place where when it happens, this is what's likely of it might be. So in terms of impact and gravity, you find yourself in a place where it's high, which is almost like 50% of the time. Moderate, like 4%. Low at 46%, which still tells us that being high means a major thing that will affect your project. So in terms of risk analysis, you need to be able to define what's likely might be a challenge, how that challenge might come, how it might affect. So imagine in our project, we're trying to migrate from HubSpot to Salesforce. What are the things we identified prior to now as things that are likely going to happen? Classroom.
Lots of data.
Hey, Stanley has spoken. He hasn't moved you to classroom. Yeah, lots of data, absolutely. So for us, lots of that data is likely going to happen, and the impact will be very high.
Yeah.
The impact will be catastrophic. So that means we're sitting at the high in terms of instead of that in terms of that risk. The risk matrix means if it happens, it's going to be high. What other risks did you identify?
System downtime.
Yeah. So how will we categorize that?
Yeah, the likelihood. The likelihood should be. Let me look at this category.
We think it's very likely for it to happen. It probably might happen. Probably
it's
might not happen.
probably.
Okay, probably might happen. But in terms of impact,
The impact will be high.
Yeah, so impact is either catastrophic, mean, minor, insignificant. If you have system downtime, do you think it will be catastrophic to the migration? Do you think it will be mean? Do you think it will be minor? Or it will be insignificant?
It will be catastrophic.
So that still sits in the matrix as something high. Which other risks did you identify?
Employee adaptability.
Yeah. So what do we think that will be in
It should
terms
be
of
low.
likelihood? Employee adaptability.
Because all you need to do is train them, so it will be low or moderate.
Okay. Employee adaptability likely to happen, probably might happen. For me, the impact of employee adaptability is, it could be here and there. And I'll tell you why. So, probable to happen might be high. Impact when it happens might be minor, depending on how you deal with it. So that means it's going to be something moderate in my own perspective.
Okay, sorry, can I come in here? So, when you are building a new system, okay, or you are doing a migration project, so the implication of that is that it's going to affect their existing ways of working. When that happens, it means that the users may be reluctant to adapt to that new ways of working. Okay, when the users fails to adapt to that new way of working, okay, the implication is that there will be underutilization of that new system. And when there's an underutilization of a system, it means that there will be impact on cost because, again, you want to, let's say, for instance, you want to do a migration to a better system, okay? You want to do that. One of the reasons could be because you want to increase the productivity, okay? You want to increase, if it's a CRM system that is used for sales, you want to be able to increase your revenue drive. Okay, so when that system is in place and people are not using it, so that means that your revenue is going to be affected significantly because the new system that's been put in place to be able to drive revenue is not being used. Okay, so now, I'm just trying to paint these scenarios because that would guide us in determining what the risk is and what the impact is going to be if peradventure it happens. So for me, given some of these examples I've given, right? So the probability of that happening is a function of the mitigations you have put in place. Okay, so when your mitigations are strong enough, okay, that would mean that the probability of it happening will be low. Okay, but peradventure it happens, based on your cost benefit analysis, the impact is going to be high. Okay, because when the system is underutilized, remember, we have migrated from HubSpot to CRM. So what that means is that HubSpot has been commissioned. The new system that needs to be used is the Salesforce. So if Salesforce is not being used as planned, it's going to affect so many things. It's going to affect the ability of people to use Salesforce to carry out their responsibilities. It's going to affect Salesforce being used to generate revenue. It's going to affect Salesforce from being used to monitor the activities of your salespeople. Okay, there are new leads. Okay, we want to know if those new leads have been contacted. When they are contacted, if they've been followed up with, because again, when there's a lead generation, that lead needs to be converted to sales. So failure to convert that lead to sales is going to impact on the organization because the organization will not even be able to pay your salary because they are not generating revenues. So the impact is going to be high. So, and that is the way I want us to be thinking when we are doing our risk analysis. We need to be able to think without the box. Okay, the probability of happening might be low, but the impact peradventure it happens might be high based on the analysis you've done. As long as you understand what the problem is, what the solution is. Okay? Today, sorry for taking your class. I just thought I should put.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's well rounded, so they can get as much knowledge as possible. Thanks, Manny. So Stanley, Taiwan, Uche. Just as Manny said, it's about thinking through that project and what is likely going to happen, and how when it happens, how it might affect. So imagine earlier on we spoke about data loss. How will we evaluate data loss?
Is there a question for us?
Tunde, to be very honest, there is this question that I feel so reluctant asking. I mean, over the period we started this, especially where it has to do with risk analysis in documents. I feel to a greater extent, don't you think that if we espouse the risk as much as we envisage them, don't you think it will scare the project sponsor? I mean, each time I go around it, I think, is it necessary? Because I cannot tell you that I am doing this and this is the foreseeable risk. You understand? I know the essence is to mitigate against, yeah. But again, it has, if I'm the project sponsor, for instance, it has a way of instilling fear to say, if this thing is likely to happen, what becomes?
It does not. See, when you don't do that risk analysis and an issue happens, the project sponsor is going to hold you responsible because the background work that you need to have done, you didn't do it.
You didn't do it.
So it's about.
What if it backs out because of the enormity of the foreseeable
It's not going to back out. Okay, let's say for instance, right? You bought a flight going to Nigeria. We all know the risk of boarding a flight. Does it stop you from going to Nigeria using flight?
It doesn't.
No.
I think the flight is even far.
But those risks are not
construct a new building.
those risks are not repeated to passengers when they are on board.
Hold on. You want to build a new structure in Lagos. There's a major risk of the fact that Lagos State can change laws and Omonile will disturb you. Has that ever stopped you from building houses? No. Do they have a plan to mitigate against it? Yes. It doesn't mean that the risk cannot hide. It doesn't mean so.
So thanks for that today. So let's even drive it down since Uche has brought out this discussion, right? Uche, when you were coming to the UK to do your masters, okay, you already know that UK does not have a straightforward route to permanent residence. Did that prevent you from coming to the UK? Uche, are you there? I don't catch up now. I don't catch up. Okay, are you there? We know that Canada has a straightforward route to getting residency, but UK does not have. But it did not prevent us from coming to the UK.
That's right. Okay. It's the same educational route.
Yeah, but what we have done is you have identified that this is a risk. You are putting measures in place as such that when that risk does materialize, you already have an alternative plan. And that is why most of you, when you finish your masters, you want to get a COS. Because you know that if you don't get that COS, you won't be able to remain in this country. But did that risk prevent you from going to this country? No. But you already have a plan in place to mitigate against that risk of you going back to Nigeria after your studies. Am I clear?
Yeah.
So I also want to, since Uche, I also want to bring it home now. So I will personalize it. Uche has run away. Where is he?
Run to where? I'll be here.
Is that simulating?
I don't move a muscle.
But does my explanation make sense to you, Uche?
It does. You know, I'm coming from a background where
I get your point. So
the proposals we write, we avoid them because they are almost, Stanley can attest to it. They're mostly political proposal where you don't want to, meddle into some of the things that would necessitate your losing maybe what you are pursuing. But in this case, it's becoming more professional that at every point there is risk. So I'm just trying to have a background information.
No, I'm giving you all the information that you need to have. Okay, so you may identify risk. It doesn't mean that risk is going to happen. It's about you proactively envisaging what could go wrong,
what could happen,
and what are the measures you need to put in place to mitigate against them peradventure they happen. So you're not doing it for everything you want to do. There's a risk. You want to drive from point A to point B. There's a risk that an accident could happen.
You know what, Manny, let me help. Let me say this. When MTN was going to roll out 5G, there was a risk assessment that says the cost might increase, one, two, the acceptability might not be there. That's aside the fact that the cost of doing that prep was very huge. But that didn't stop MTN because it meant they were going to remove everything they have existing in their core network and some part of their network and replace them with new equipment. High risk, but there was just mitigation plans to it that says, okay, if we get to some point, this is what we'll do. If we get to that point, this is what we'll do. And it still went ahead, despite the fact that there was a risk assessment done. But remember also that there was a cost-benefit analysis, which most times outweigh your risk. Because the person looks at, okay, there's a cost-benefit analysis. When eventually comes to pass, I will have X, Y, Z. Most times is in terms of revenue. So people look at the benefit on the long run. Just like Manny says, what's the benefit I stay here? I'm going to get this. This place is closer home. By the time you weigh those cost benefits, you actually just sit to a point where I realize, okay, there's identified risk. You just plan towards the risk. Am I mitigating against it? Am I transferring it? What do I do with that risk when it happens? So that's basically what we do. Every project will have a risk, some pretty high risk, but that doesn't mean that. And let me say, from a business perspective, the higher the risk, the more money or the better the benefit. When the risk seems higher,
say that again. Say that again.
The higher the risk, the higher your risk, the more money you will get. In honest truth, the higher the risk. When you think the risk is higher, that's when you get much more. That's when you derive much more from project. Because it means something, because the higher risk means it's something and somewhere people are not going to. It's something people won't want to do because they feel if I pump into this project, I might not get my return on investment in time, I might not get it at all. But the other side of it is also when you're able to achieve that project on the long run, based on the risk response you've drafted, you'll be swimming in a lot much more.
Yeah, even to add to that, so when you meet an investment officer, the first thing they want to know is your level of risk appetite. Because your level of risk appetite is what will determine where they want you to invest your funds in. If your risk appetite is high, they will ask you to invest in an investment that has high hidden returns, which also come with high risk, because if that investment fails, you're going to be losing a lot of money. But if it works, it's going to yield you a lot of returns. Okay, so let me even bring it home further. It's another scenario. We all know the risk of a woman your wife's going to labor, but does that prevent you from getting her pregnant? It doesn't prevent us. But what do? We know that women would do delivery without CS, while some others will require CS. Okay. What is the mitigation we usually put in place? We usually keep money aside for delivery, because in case the doctor says this has to be done through CS, what is the implication if it's done through CS? It means that the cost implication is going to be higher.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Uche, does it make sense? Stanley, does it make sense to you? Taiwo, does it make sense?
It does make sense.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah. It's straight.
Oh, okay. All right. I just thought I should bring it further home now. Okay, that's fine. I'll allow Tine to continue.
So basically, in terms of risk, you need to just analyze your risk. Assess what the risk is, and like I said, this just gives us a perfect template to do for any risk. Check what it is, impact, and likelihood of happening, and what does that translate to. So you're able to also use that to plan your risk responses in terms of what you want to do, what are the answers you want to give when this risk comes. Are we mitigating? What are the mitigation plans we have? What steps we will take? How do we take the steps? Because that for a typical thing, that's why you have buildings with fire exits. fire is a risk in every building globally. Risk response is already planned. There's a fire exit, and there's a what do they call it? There's a place where you all gather outside camera, anchor and assembly point.
Muster point.
Cluster point. Cluster point.
Yeah, muster
Muster
point.
point. Muster
Muster-
point.
Yeah,
muster
muster point. So
point.
there's a muster point. So there's that's for me, that's a risk you have every day. You are going into a building, there's a likelihood that there's going to be fire, there's a fire exit, and there's a plan for it. So basically, that but that doesn't mean that because that's a risk, people won't go into the building, they won't walk in the building. It's like what I tell people in the US. Twin Towers fell like 20 plus years ago. That doesn't mean that they haven't constructed higher building. That doesn't mean, but they've just taken a risk assessment and decided to fly in, planes can't fly in at a certain, they just have mitigation plans going forward. That's just it. So that's just basic. So money, the cost plan.
Yes, I can share the template. So all these templates, Tunde has shown you guys today. You guys are supposed to have it. So it's one of the perks for joining this training. And because when you find yourself in a project, all you need to do is to replicate what is on this template. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Okay, so you just use and adapt. Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys a cost template. I'm also going to check. I'm not sure I sent Tunde a change log and a change management template. Okay, I can share that with you guys as well. So, if I don't know if today is done. Are you done for today?
Yes, I am. I can. So let me. Let's move on a second. Yeah, I'm done. I think you can share now, man.
Okay, so let me go. So I will send it to them because I'm using my phone too. I'll send it to them after this. So this brings to the end of the PM training. Okay, so what you guys need to do now is to do the project. So I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you what you need to deliver for this project. So basically, what you guys need to do now, okay? I'm going to assign you guys back to the project the BA guys are doing. So as a PM, you could, Tunde, can you please stop the recording?
Okay.
Yeah. So as a PM,